So when you look at today's jobs numbers, for example, Don Luskin, I know that average hours worked fell, but productivity gains suggest we can stay on track. Take a whack at this before we get back to the stock market.
Well, goodness, what a wonderful test of the lows this was. After a number like that, for stocks to finish up on the day, it's just amazing. Imagine if we'd lost 180,000 jobs instead of 80, the Dow would probably be up 300 points. You know, what's going on here is really quite remarkable, because while we have had a steady drip, drip, drip of jobs, we are in an export boom that is causing industrial production here in the United States to remain quite steady. It looks nothing at all like a recession. And when you're losing jobs, but your industrial production just continues chugging along, we call that productivity, baby. And it can be tough adjustments. If you're one of the guys who lost his job, it's not a happy story for you, but it's a great story for the economy.
I mean, I'm just trying to create some balance. Hey, Don Luskin, I'm still playing retailers, consumer products, and financials. Now, I don't know whether you agree with me or not. What is your investment strategy? And let me just amend that, Don, or a little add-on. Don't we always have trouble with the broad indexes when the leaders falter and there's a rotation underneath them? I mean, isn't this fairly typical of what happens when you get new leadership, which is why to some extent it's much ado about nothing? Go ahead, Don.
Well, sure. That's actually what's happened over the last year, because the financials used to be big leaders. They used to be, something like 25% of S&P earnings, and that's just been absolutely decimated. So if you take financials out, the S&P hasn't performed anywhere nearly as badly as it looks, including the financials. So now energy's coming off.
All sectors are down. Every sector is down.
Fine.
Every sector is down on the year. There's no rotation going on.
Excuse me. Hello. Sorry. The question was, what happens when a single dominant sector rotates out of dominance? And the answer is that creates a big effect in the average computation. And we're seeing that now with energy. But, Larry, your point is good. You're just not carrying it far enough. I understand that over the last 5 or 6 weeks, as the energy sector has fallen, it's dragged basic materials down with it. But that's not going to last, because an energy tax cut is a tax cut for basic materials producers and processors, just as it is for airlines and retailers and wholesalers and everybody else in the economy. It's hard to think of a more energy-intensive sector than basic materials.
I hear you on that.
So that's going to come roaring back, my friend.
But Don, oil is falling not because of a imminent increase in its supply. You would have to agree with that. It's falling because of a recession here in the United States and in Japan and in the Eurozone.
What's wrong with that?
I don't actually have to agree with one word of that. There's no recession. There's no recession. The word recession has a meaning. You're just making it up. There is no recession going on here. Now, if $147 oil, the conventional wisdom retailed by people like you was that was going to cause recession. So now we've got $105 oil. So that ought to cause a boom, right? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Don Luskin, what is your favorite investment strategy right now?
Buy basic materials. It's just basic, Larry.
Wow.